Hey, so let's talk about tennis elbow in working mums. Here's why it's more common than you think. Now, as an executive mom juggling your work, home, and everything in between, chances are that you might have brushed off a little elbow soreness now and then. Now, maybe it flares up when lifting a heavy bag, or when you're typing late at your laptop, or at your keyboard, or if you're just stirring a pot of dinner, right, when you're cooking. Now, it's easy to chalk it up to being busy or just getting older, but that nagging ache or pain might be a sign of something more specific like tennis elbow. And even if you've never picked up a tennis racket in your life, it is possible to get tennis elbow. Now, many working mums are at a greater risk of developing a tennis elbow even without realizing it. So let's talk more about it in today's video. But before we go ahead, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is back and neck, and nerve pain despite low energy levels and brain fog. I do this by giving you simple exercises, some easy lifestyle modifications, some tips and tricks that have helped me in my own pain and adrenal fatigue journey. Now, those of you who are familiar with adrenal fatigue may know that there are many, many symptoms, but the main ones that I had were brain fog, that is lack of focus, or low energy levels. Now, when you have these two, it's very difficult to even get through your day, leave alone managing your aches and pains. However, having said that, it's not impossible. It is possible. I have come out on the other side. There are times when I slip back in, but then I have the strategies and the ways in which I know I can get to the other side. Anyway, so here I am talking to you about my personal experiences, things that I've learned from my personal experiences, from my professional knowledge, and sharing it with you. Hoping your journey, your pain journey, isn't as long as mine was. Anyway, let's get back into the topic for today, which is tennis elbow in working mums. And here's what you need to. Here's why it's more common than you think. So basically, why a working woman more, or especially working mums, at a higher risk of developing tennis elbow, and they don't even realize it. Now, as I was saying, actually, let's get into what is tennis elbow. So tennis elbow is also known as lateral epicondylitis in the medical world. So anything with a itis, that is itis at the end, basically denotes there's an inflammation. So the lateral epicondyle, if you look at your elbow here, this is the point of the elbow. If you were to keep your index finger and your thumb on either side of this point of this bony point on the elbow, if you look at your finger on the outer side, this bony area here, the outer part of the elbow, this is known as the lateral epicondyle. So when there's an inflammation in this area, it's known as a lateral epicondylitis, and that is known as a tennis elbow. So as I was saying, it is possible to get a tennis elbow even if you've never ever even touched a tennis racket in your life. It's just that it's called tennis elbow in the common language because tennis players usually this problem is seen more in tennis players. Anyway, so usually tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis is the result of repetitive stresses on your forearm muscles and tendons. So the muscles that originate on or attach to this outer bony elbow, they go and they spread along your forearm here, and you see these tendons here, these ropey muscles. So they go and split into these and then they go attach into the fingers. So when you have repetitive activities involving your elbow, your forearm, or your wrist, especially your wrist, suppose you're typing for long or you're holding a mouse and you're repeatedly moving the mouse. So when you do this time and again without taking a break, it can lead to tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis. So, yeah, a couple of examples that I had noted down for you was reaching across your desk for your mouse if you're repeatedly doing some action, or say you're gardening and or you are one of those who do some woodwork and you're constantly sawing or holding a saw. When you are constantly, like every single time you're holding some groceries or any heavy weight, even carrying your kid on one side, you are swiping or scrolling on your phone without a break, that can all lead to tennis elbow. Now, these are not injuries per se in the traditional way. It's not like you've fallen down and you've gotten hurt. It's not an injury, but these are daily habits that slowly wear your body down. Now, if you are looking for more details on what is tennis elbow, I have done so many videos that you can see on my YouTube channel. However, there is a blog that I have written on this topic. Let me just read out. The topic for the blog is why working moms are at a higher risk of developing tennis elbow and don't realize it. In that blog, I have a video which describes in very simple words what is tennis elbow, what are the causes, what are the symptoms, etc. And of course, how it's different from golfer's elbow. Golfer's elbow is when you have inflammation on this. You remember how we had put these 3 points on the elbow? So when you have inflammation on this inner bony part of your elbow, and that muscles go into the forearm here and into the fingers, so that is golfer's elbow. Again, you would have never played golf, then you can get golfer's elbow. Anyway, moving back to tennis elbow. What happens with mums now, especially working mums? Yes, I understand you're on the computer, you're constantly scrolling, typing, using that keyboard, etc. Probably you're doing that for hours at an end without a break in between. Now, that could be men or women, but what happens with mums are what I have noticed with most of the people that I've seen for tennis elbow is mums are constantly multitasking. Whether it's working at your desk, whether you're balancing a toddler on your hip, or you're trying to sneak in chores between your Zoom calls with everybody working from home nowadays, most people, your arms are in motion all the time when you're cooking, stirring anything, you see that wrist movement that automatically comes in. So also, moms tend to be stressed most of the time. There are very few Zen, calm moms 24 who can be calm 24/7. So with that running high in your body, stress levels are high, your body's already in an overdrive, and your muscles are tighter when you have physical stress, sorry, mental stress. It manifests as physical stress as well. Your posture is more strained and recovery is slower. On top of that, you are doing that multitasking, repetitive stress. Of course, you're more prone to tennis elbow or elbow problems in general as a mom. So, also because you're always stressed, your healing is slow. It takes a long time for your elbow to heal, right? Now, but if you catch tennis elbow early, it's easier to manage. Like any other problem, any other aches and pains, you let it slowly fester or slowly increase. Obviously, it's difficult to catch it. However, if you catch it early, it's easier to manage. So you don't need to stop everything, all your activities, or take a very long break. But a few changes in how you move, carry, work can make a big difference, right? So, for example, if I'm one of those who's always using the mouse, right? So my this is the natural position when you I don't have my mouse here, but when you're holding the mouse, so you're holding the mouse, and this is a natural position for your wrist to fall into. However, this is not a neutral position for your wrist. So what is a neutral position when your forearm and your little finger here, they are in the same line, okay? And your center of the forearm is roughly in line with the finger here. So you're not deviated to your left or to your right, and you're not deviated up or down. But with a mouse, what happens? Immediately you see the deviation here. I'm not in neutral. Deviation, and also you go up here. If you take a little face towel or you use one of those wrist pads on which you can, rest your wrist, it's got a little elevation. Or if you roll up a face towel and put it over here, what happens instantly is you can hold the mouse, and you see how my wrist is in neutral right now. So this is like one of the tricks that I have found out that really is helpful for tennis elbow. Now, all the tips and tricks that I have learned along my tennis elbow journey, along teaching other people how to manage their tennis elbow, I have put all that into a course which is called Simple Solutions to Manage Your Tennis Elbow. I will leave a link to that blog, to that course in the blog that I was talking about. And I will leave a link to the blog in the description of this video. On Instagram, the link will be in my bio. The link to the blog will be in my bio. And really, if you're a busy mom and you can't be bothered to look for it, just message me, drop a comment below. I'll send it across to you. Alrighty, so in that course, you can learn some effective, easy to implement strategies because really, if anything is complicated, I'm not going to do it, so I'm not teaching you that. And it helps you by adjusting your posture, managing your pain, quick movement resets that you can learn, basically everything that is aimed towards long-term pain relief without really uh, making your already busy routine more complicated. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, any comments for me, or any specific questions that you have related to tennis elbow and you want me to address them for you, leave it down in the comments below and I will try my best to answer those for you. Or if it's a specific video you want me to do, I'll try my best.